Now Prospero says, 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power. So, you heard earlier that Miranda was 3 years old when she came to the island. Now, she's telling, if Prospero is telling, 12 years ago, your father was the Duke of Milan and the Prince of Power. He was a very powerful person. Now, one point we heard earlier that Miranda was 3 years old when she came to the island. Now, 12 years have passed. So, how old is Miranda now? 15 years. During those times, 16th that century, the times when Shakespeare was writing this story, writing this Tempest, the marriage age was not 18 of girls, it was 10, 11, 12, the children used to get married. Now we consider them as kids. So then, 15 years was right age to be married off for a girl. Now she was of marriageable age. So he says 12 years before, your father, Miranda's father, was the Duke of Milan and a powerful prince. Miranda, sir, are you not my father? So Miranda is confused. Prospero is telling your father was Duke of Milan. Then Miranda cannot imagine Prospero to be a young, powerful prince. He is an old fellow with maybe no hair. He has become very old. So Miranda asks father a doubt innocently. So you are not my father. My father is somebody else, Duke of Milan. And Prospero very cunningly, very wittily gives the answer. See the answer of Prospero. Sir, thy mother was a piece of virtue. Your mother was a very a lady of good character. Your mother was a lady of good character, and she said that thou was my daughter. She said, I was the father, your father. That is, you were my daughter. What is this? What great philosophy is Shakespeare implying here? Mother is a truth. It's a fact. But father is a belief. Mother says so and so is the father. So it is a belief. We believe. I'm not telling we shouldn't believe. What I'm trying to say is that scientific fact, that philosophy Shakespeare was putting forward. Who is our mother? That needn't be proved. Whoever gives birth to us is our mother. But now there is the surrogate mothers are there. That's a different point. During that Shakespeare's time, only original mothers were there. So mother is a fact. No reasoning, no proof is required. But father, it's a belief. That's what is being implied here. Your mother was a person with good character. She was not an immoral person. So according to me, my idea, she had only one husband. And that was me. And so she told me, you were my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan. So now it's clear to Miranda. It is about Prospero himself. Prospero is saying that Prospero was the Duke of Milan. One fact. What we learn about Prospero? Prospero came to this island 12 years before. Prospero came to this island when Miranda was 3 years old. Miranda is Prospero's daughter. And Prospero was Duke of Milan. And his only heir and princess, no was issued. There were no other children. You were the only one. You were the only heir of Prospero. So she was to inherit the Milan. Miranda, oh the heavens, my God! What foul play had we that we came from thence, or blessed was it we did? How did we come here? Was it a blessing or curse? What foul play? Did somebody do something bad to us that we ended up here? Or was it a blessing that we came here? We had a wonderful life. Miranda is happy with the life she had in the island and she says, was it a blessing or curse? Prospero, both, my girl. Prospero considers it both a blessing and curse. Now, what is this both blessing and curse? We will completely understand only by the end of the lesson. Now, when he says both, he says it is a blessing and it is a curse. Why curse? Maybe he realized the true character of people who surrounded him. Blessing, why? Maybe because he realized who he is and his own shortcomings. And maybe he learned many other things regarding humankind or regarding knowledge. He may have acquired knowledge, so those are the blessings. The gains that he got by being in this island were his blessings. The losses he suffered because of coming to this island, that must be the curse. That is what I said, both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, where we heaved thence and blessedly hope hither. So, the foul play by treachery. It was by treachery that they were forced to come to this island. But it was a blessing that they were saved and they survived beautifully. They were saved. They didn't die. They didn't perish in the sea. They were saved and they survived. And finally, they saved. Their survival was a very calm, peaceful existence, happy existence. So it is a blessing. Miranda, oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to. So the only worry, Miranda is thinking, the only worry he must have had during that time must be Miranda, a small girl of 3 years old. So she says, I feel very sorry that I must have been a very burden to you, which is from my remembrance. Please you, Father, I know I must have been a pain to you, Prospero, my brother, and thy uncle, called Antonio. So now Antonio we already saw in the first scene. We saw he is a foul-mouthed person, always abusing others, getting angry very fast. Now, it is that Antonio who is speaking about here. My brother and thy uncle. So, who is Antonio? Antonio is Prospero's brother and Miranda's uncle. I pray thee, mark me. Second time, listen to me carefully. That a brother should be so perfidious, he whom next thyself. Now, here, perfidious means treacherous. Okay, so it is a person can be so, a human being can be so treacherous. I realized, so it was a realization for Prospero, and whom I loved next to you. That is Miranda, he loved the most because it was his daughter. Next to Miranda, he loved Antonio the most. Of all the world I loved, the second best person for me, second most loved person for me was Antonio. And to him, now what did Prospero do? And to him put the manage of my state. Who was the Duke of Milan? Prospero was the Duke of Milan. But instead of managing the affairs of the state, he gave that responsibility to his brother Antonio. And at that time, through all the sceneries, it was the first. And Prospero, the prime duke, that it is recognized, this state of Milan was recognized as the number one country, number one dukedom of that time. See, India was once upon a time, that is during this Shakespeare's time and all, India was considered one of the leading countries of the world, richest countries of the world, India and China. China for silk and India for spices. People were eager to come to India to get these spices and silk. The silk route from China passed through Kollam. Do you all know that, children? Yeah, it passed through Kollam. That's why Kollam was an important port during those times, and that's why that saying came, Kollam Kandavan Illam Venda, because it was one of the most important ports of that time. Now, Milan is in Italy. Milan at that time was considered to be one of the richest dukedoms of the world. Okay, so it was number one in position. And at that time, when does a country become number one in position? When the income of the people, the the income of each people, when all the people are rich in the country, everybody is rich in the country, everybody is happy in the country, there are no diseases. Even if a disease comes, government has enough money to control it. When the government have surplus money to look after the comforts of the people, then that country is in the number one position. So Milan was in the number one position, and Prospero was the prime duke, the number one duke of that time, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts. Now, what are liberal arts? Liberal arts are literature, geography, trigonometry, all those lessons that we learn. Liberal arts are not dance and music. Liberal arts are all those things. Those are liberal arts. Liberal arts without a parallel. So they were advanced in science, technology, maths, in all the subjects. They were in an advanced position. Those being all my study. So this man, Prospero, was very interested in studying, reading books. That was his interest. His interest was not managing the dukedom. The government I cast upon my brother and to my state grew stranger. That means I didn't know what was happening in the state. Who was ordering what? I was just namesake. He brings paper, I sign and give. I don't know what is happening in the state. So I had given all that power to my brother. Being transported and wrapped in secret studies, I was carried away by secret studies. Maybe he was also learning magic, dark magic also, occult studies also. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me? Your treacherous uncle. Your uncle who was not straightforward. What did he do? Sir, most heedfully, yes, I'm listening to. You gave your part to your brother and you were sitting and reading books in the library. Being once perfected, how to grant suits. Now, slowly he understood. If this fellow is given a favor, it will be useful for me. If that is, a powerful people were given favor, that those people will be able to do something in return for him. So, whom to favor and whom not to favor. That is, being once perfected, how to grant suits, how to deny them. So a person who is not powerful at all, who is not able to give anything in return, no need of pleasing such persons, deny them. Like how people are, those influential people get positions, and those non-influential people do not reach anywhere. That way, like that. He learned it. Whom to advance and whom to trash, who should be given promotion. The people who favor him were given promotion. The people who questioned him, they were dismissed off. Whom to trash for overtopping, who were to be dismissed. New created the creatures that were men. Once all these men were prosperous people. So those who favored Prospero were in key positions. Slowly, he changed all the officers and placed his people who were more loving or more obedient towards Antonio in those key positions. I say, or changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office. He had the key. It means the checks, the sanctions, all that deeds and all he used to write. The Prospero just signed. Prospero didn't even look what he is signing. So all that power was with Antonio. set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. So whatever he liked, he made them prosper, and whatever he didn't like, he just dismissed them, destroyed them. Now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk. It's a simile that is used. Now he was the comparison is used. Antonio is compared to ivy that had hid my princely trunk. So a tree which is covered by an ivy. What happens? This ivy, the roots of the ivy means a climbing plant, a money plant. This plant will ooze out the energy, from the trunk. It will eat from the trunk, and slowly what happens? The trunk is destroyed, and only that ivy, that climbing plant, will remain. That to that ivy, the ivy which hid my princely trunk and sucked my verdure out on it. Thus attendest not. Thou attendest not. Are you listening? So he who is compared to the ivy, Antonio is compared to the ivy. Who is a princely trunk? Prospero is the princely trunk. So Prospero was oozed out by Antonio. Means Prospero was used by Antonio to gain more and more power. Oh, good sir, I do. Yes, sir, I'm listening. Prospero, I pray thee, mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, I did not bother what is happening in my state. I just left it like that. All dedicated to the closeness and bettering of my mind. I was trying to improve my intellect. I was reading, learning, I was immersed in that. With that which, but by seeing so retired, overpriced, all popular rate in my false brother, I believed blindly. I believed my brother blindly. But my brother was treacherous, awaked an evil nature. So, an evil nature, an evil thought originated in his mind, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great. I considered him as my son. I loved him so much. But he cheated me. As my trust was, which had indeed no limit, I had unlimited trust on him, a confidence without limits. He being thus lauded, not only with what my revenue yielded, he became rich because of all the money he was getting, all the income. But what my power might else exact like one, because he was powerful. Using that power, he used to take money from people, extract money from people unnecessarily, who having into truth by telling of it made such a sinner of his memory. Soon he began to believe that he was the duke. He forgot that there was a duke there. He began to believe he is the duke. He is the most powerful person in the dukedom. To credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the duke out of the substitution. He forgot he was just a substitution. He believed that he was the duke. And executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative, hence his ambition growing, dost thou hear? So his ambition began to grow. He wanted to be the real duke. Instead of going to Prospero and getting the signature, that became a big job for him. He thought, if only I could become the duke. Miranda, your tale, sir, would cure deafness. Even if it is a deaf person, he will listen, sit and listen. To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for. He wanted now Prospero was a hindrance to him for his ambition, for his power. He needs will be absolute Milan. He wanted to be the absolute power of Milan. He did not want Prospero there. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. I considered library as my dukedom, and I sat there and studied. Of temporal royalties, he thinks me now incapable. He thought I am not suitable to become a duke, because he thought I don't know how to control. confederate. He thinks me now incapable, confederate so dry, he was for sway with King of Naples. He allied with King of Naples. He joined with King of Naples. He became pally. He became friends with King of Naples to give him annual tribute. He said, "You help me get rid of Duke this Prospero. I will give you every year. I will give you as an amount, a princely amount, as reward every year, annual tribute. Do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown. Milan will be under you. I will be the duke, but it will be under you." So, what happens? A part of the royalty, a part of the revenue from the country will go also to Naples, king of Naples, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed to most ignoble stooping. So it came under another country. Until now, dukedom was independent. Now it came another country, under another country. Oh, the heavens, that was very bad. So Miranda has had good education. Miranda knows this is bad. Prospero, mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother. Now, what do you say? You think he is a good brother? Do you think Antonio deserves to be said as a brother? Miranda, I should sin to think out nobly of my grandmother. I shouldn't think badly about my grandmother. Good wombs have born bad sons, so it must not be mother's nature. She was a very good person, but what to do? From the same womb that you came, this Antonio has also come. Prospero, now the condition, the king of Naples being an enemy to me, inveterate hearkens my brother's suit. Now, king of Naples had many times tried to attack Milan and bring it under Naples, but Prospero always defied it and stood stern. Now, king of Naples felt very happy. Very easily, Antonio was giving Milan to King of Naples. So he was very happy. Which was that he, in lieu of the promise of homage, and I know not how much the tribute. So, because Milan was going to be under him, he was happy. He didn't know how much money was to be spent. Should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom and confer fair Milan. So he said, I will also join you. And he decided to hand over Milan to Antonio, with all the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied one midnight. So one midnight, after everybody of Milan was sleeping, one midnight, Antonio left the gates of Milan open. An army of King of Naples came in. Fated to the purpose did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, when everybody was sleeping in the dark night, the ministers for the purpose hurried. Some ministers were assigned the duties. Thence me and thy crying self. They just pulled me out of the library, pushed me, and Miranda was crying. Miranda was given to Prospero, and both of them were pushed out, and they were pulling them out of the library and taking them out of the gate. Miranda, alas, for pity. I not remembering how I cried out then, how I should have been crying. Will cry it over again. Now when I think of it, I feel like crying again. It is a hint that rings mine eyes to it. I feel like crying now. Hear a little further. Listen to me. There is little more of the story. And then I'll bring thee to the present business. Then you will understand why I am doing this, why I am creating this tempest, which now upon us, without which the story were most impertinent. To understand the tempest, you should understand our story. Wherefore did they not that are destroyers? Why didn't they kill us then? They could have killed us then and there in Milan itself. Why didn't they kill us? Important question. Now, Prospero says, well demanded wench, well demanded woman. Good question. My tale provokes that question. My tale makes you ask. That means you are listening. Dear, they dare not, they will not, they would not have killed, because so dear the love my people bore me. The people of Milan loved Prospero very much, nor set a mark so bloody on the business. Now if blood was shed, definitely they will know there was some internal help, and Antonio will not be able to become the Duke of Milan. They will definitely know that Antonio had a hand. then it will become a bloody business. But with colors fairer painted their foul ends. They wanted to. Now, Prospero was sitting inside the library. No people are seeing him. So, if slowly they will forget about Prospero. That was the idea that Antonio had in mind. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark. A bark means a ship, almost a broken ship. They put us in a almost dilapidated ship, bore us some leagues to sea, not in a ship, in a boat which was almost broken boat, and they took us to the sea. Now ships don't come to the shore, so we have to move a little into the sea to get into a ship. So in a small boat, they were taken. This Prospero and Miranda was taken to the ship. A rotten carcass of a butt. So the ship was a dilapidated ship. Means not rig, no tackle, no sail, no mast. The very rats instinctively have quit it. Even there were no rats, no mast. That is, the ship wouldn't move. There were no sails, nothing were there, and even some planks were left empty. So it was left at the mercy of the currents of the sea. There they hoist us to cry it to the sea that rode to us. So both of us, we were crying to the sea. The sea was taking us away in the current. To sigh to the winds, whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong. So what happened was, it took us back to the sea. It took us back to the sea. It took us into the sea. It took us into the sea, and we were moving and moving and moving, and we didn't know where we were going. We were just left to the mercy of the sea. Miranda, luck, what trouble was I then to you? I must have been a great trouble to you when that happened. Prospero, oh, cherubin. Cherubin means angel, my angel daughter. Thou was that did preserve me. It was because of you. I had that willpower to survive. It was because of you. Thou didst smile infused with a fortitude from heaven. Your smile gave me the strength to survive. When I have decked the sea with drops full salt. Why full salt? He was crying. When he was crying, it was salty tears. When he was adding salt to the sea, when he was crying, your face helped me survive. Under my burden groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue. I thought, whatever happens, I left my fate in the hands of God, but I wanted to survive. How came we ashore? How did we come here? By providence divine, that God brought us to this island. By providence divine, by God Almighty. Some food we had, and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan Gonzalo. So Gonzalo had kept some food and some water in the boat where they were sailing away, out of his charity. Now, was it only food and water? Let us see what else he gave Gonzalo, who being then appointed master of this design, he was in charge of this program. So he couldn't say anything against King of Naples, but he made sure that they had enough food, water, did give us with rich garments. He gave us clothes, linen, stuffs and necessaries, other necessary things. So what did Gonzalo provide? Gonzalo provided food, Gonzalo provided fresh water, Gonzalo provided clothes, Gonzalo provided necessary things, which since have studied much so of his gentleness. Because of him we survived. Knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prize above my dukedom. He also gave books. So 5 things he provided. Remember that, my dear children, important. Would I might but ever see that man? Will I be able to see that man again? You know Gonzalo. He was a gentleman then. He is a gentleman now. We met Gonzalo in Act 1, Scene 1. Prospero, now I arise. Sit still and hear the last of our sea sorrow. You just hear the last part of the story. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster. I became your teacher. Make thee more profit than other princes can that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful. You had the best teacher. I taught you well. If you were in the dukedom, I may not have been able to teach you so well. But now here, because I was teaching you, I taught you everything. I have trained you. I have made you a lady. Heavens thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still it is beating in my mind your reason for raising this sea storm. I heard your story, I understood, but still I did not understand why did you raise this tempest. But we understood. How did we understand? We understood the people who did this crime against him were in the ship. But Miranda hasn't understood. So Prospero says, no, thus far forth. By accident, most strange. By accident, by fluke. I never thought that this will happen. By accident, bountiful fortune, by luck. Now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I quote not, but omit my fortunes, will ever after draw. That is, by luck, this ship was brought to near my shore. And it was by fortune. It was just a fortune. Now, if I don't make use of my fortune now, if I let them go, God may not provide me with another chance. This is one lesson Shakespeare tries to tell us. Opportunities come to all of us. We should have the mind to take the risk. Only persons who are ready to take the risk will succeed. Now, this Prospero saw this man coming to the shore. He decided, yes, he will take the risk. He decided to create a tempest and bring all his enemies at his mercy to the island. And he feels that if he let go of this opportunity, he will never again regain what he lost. Now, through this tempest, he is trying to regain his losses. He is trying to make good for all the bad things that happened to him in his life. Thou art inclined. Here sees more questions. Now, you needn't ask me any more questions. You can go to sleep. 'Tis good dullness and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. So he is making a magic and making her sleep. Come away, servant, come. I am ready now. Approach my Ariel, come. So he is calling out for Ariel, his servant. We stop there. From Ariel, we will continue in the next class. Thank you, children.